I'm waiting for my Discord to come up, so whenever that happens is when I can drop on. And I don't know why Discord is not coming up. It's kind of making me mad. The saga for the computer continues. The saga continues. No, 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 no. Okay, here we go. We doing something now. I appreciate you. Hey Raquel, how you doing, beautiful? Can you hear me? Polly Collins, thank you so much for the follow. Let me know if you can hear me, Raquel. Okay, perfect. I'm just having like one of those days, man, where nothing wants to do what I needed to do. But in just a second, I'm gonna start up. Hi, Chris. Chris is on Twitch. She's like, I don't want to lag. I want real-time stuff. Got you. I'm just waiting on Discord, y'all, because it's just doing the most right now. Oh, I'm on talk now. I see you. I see you. Book Readers Anonymous. What's good? What's good? What's good? If my Discord ever comes up, we can get started. And I have not played Genshin Impact today, so I'm gonna have to like squeeze that in after this, and then I have to go back to my Korean studies. I did all my writing this morning, or my revisions anyway, so there's that. And I'm jamming to Kai right now, because you know, can't not jam to Kai. What? I don't know what it is. I think I've had enough. I've just had enough. I did a little bit of shopping. Oh, you just got your book? Yay! I'm so excited for you. I really hope you enjoy it. Oh my God. I'm a little nervous. I always get nervous when people tell me they get my book. I'm excited and nervous. I hope you like it though. Okay, Discord is finally up. I was like, what the double HE acoustics is happening in the world? Oh, yay. Yeah, Renee Folsom, who I co-wrote that book with, she is responsible for that amazing cover. She did a great job, didn't she? It's like, it's just beautiful. It's just beautiful. I get to start the stage now, finally. Drama review. How about I just went blank right now? Is that old age kicking in? Is that what that is? Yeah. All right. So, we starting the stage. What's good, everybody? Okay. So, pause this, and we're going to talk about the Dawning Rage. And Raquel's like, but I can't see you. It just says that the stream is starting. Let me fix that. Ta-da! There I am, Raquel. All late to the game and such. I don't know who's in book discussion. Somebody's in book discussion, but that's okay. They can chill in book discussion if that's where they want to be. If that's where you want to be, you can be there. Okay. Y'all didn't come on here to hear me sing, and I wasn't really trying right now. So anyways, This movie, highly underrated in my opinion. Or I should say highly underrated by me. Because I'm sure that everyone who sees this will have some mixed feelings and some mixed emotions as well as their opinions, okay? So let's just jump right in. This show is on Netflix. It's Joe Peel, The Dawning Rage. I made the horrific mistake of watching the first 15 minutes and then basically I turned it off because there was like a lot going on and I wasn't ready to like process it, right? But then in the process of not being ready to process it, I started watching other stuff, right? In between, like Lovers of the Red Sky, Fight My Way, Hometown Cha-Cha-Cha. Like, us K-drama lovers, you guys know what I'm talking about. Especially when we get on a kick, right? At the very beginning, when I like heavily got into K-drama, I would just watch one and I would binge it. And then I'll go to the next one, the next one, next one. I've broadened my horizons to where I'm just watching multiple ones. And sometimes things get lost in the fold. And this was one of them. So the other night, I was like, okay, I need to sit down and give this movie some serious watching. Because I liked the synopsis. I actually liked the writers. I like the writer, which is, oh my God, I suck at Korean names, so y'all have to forgive me when I mess this stuff up, okay? But it's Jung Byung Lee. But the stars are Sung Boon Gun, Park Hae Joon, and then, oh, I guess there's an English version because I'm looking at IMDb right now. There's someone named Philip Hirsch, and I guess that's maybe for like a voiceover. But anywho, this movie, first of all, is 2 hours and 7 minutes, and it's worth every minute. Like, it just starts off good, and it ends well, and it's like, I gave it a 5 stars for starters. It gets 5 movies for me, hands down. And let me tell you why. There's no romantic element whatsoever in this movie, but it's action, it's conspiracy, it's trying to figure out what's going to happen, how it's going to happen. And the way that they show you the trailer on Netflix leads you down a path to believe, okay, teenage girl, corrupt cop, they about to, you know, get into whatever sleuthing and detectiving they need to do in order to solve the mystery, right? So IMDb actually does not have a good synopsis thing on here. It just says a corrupt cop enlists a teenage girl's help to expose a corporate scandal and eventually becomes her unlikely protector. That is so misleading. And you'll understand why I say it's misleading, because, you know, I don't like to give these away. I try not to do spoilers. I am going to write a review on my Discord page under the K-drama section, and I'll try my best not to ruin it for y'all. But this movie has action, it has grit, it's got some sarcasm in there, it's got, I mean, he is the perfect anti-hero. Like, when you first meet him, you're like, oh my God, really? Seriously? But he's your quintessential anti-hero. Like, he doesn't want help at all in the beginning. He has no reason to. His whole thing is, he's about his money. He's a corrupt cop. That's all he cares about, is what he wants. But then as things start to unfold, he doesn't have a choice but to get involved. And then when he gets involved, he gets so messed up in such a way that I understand why they call it the Dawning Rage. Like, you will understand why this dude does a complete 360 and flips the fluff out. But he does it in such a beautiful way, you can't help but applaud the entire show. Thank you for the likes, Colorado Mama. Mwah. So yes, if you want something that's going to keep you entertained, and this is not even a K-drama, okay? I probably should change the name to the channel. I do. I say K-dramas and more. So this is not a K-drama. This is just a Korean movie done exquisitely. I cannot say enough about this movie. I don't know what it is that I loved so much about it, But after it was done and the credits were rolling and I'm sitting there thinking, dude, that was epic. That was great. I was like, why did I wait on this? And I know that we have those movies where we're like, we don't really want to see it, or they're underrated, or maybe they didn't do really well in the box office, so we don't really want to watch them. And then years later go by, and this film was made in 2019, by the way. And don't ask me to pronounce the original title, because I just can't. It starts with an A, it ends with an L, and it looks like it's got every single letter in the alphabet. I can't pronounce it. So we're going to go with Joe Peel, The Dawning Rage. But it was done so well that I don't understand how come there isn't some hype about this movie. And maybe there was back in 2019. That very well could have been the case, right? Because back in 2019, I was just all about K-dramas, C-dramas, Japanese dramas, my manga, my anime. I wasn't really like trying to watch movies per se. But now I am. And I'm like, WTF? Why was I asleep on this? I'm finally woke. I'm awake. I've been enlightened. And one of the things that I noticed about this, it had some I'm trying to think about like the choreography and the fight scenes. The cinematography was really good too. That's another reason why I gave it five movies. But the fight scenes weren't intricate, but they were believable, if that makes sense. Because, you know, nowadays when we see these fight scenes, you're like, dude, if you got hit like that, you done. You out of breath. You knocked out cold. You still trying to recover. And if you're still trying to recover, dude who put you on the ground, if he's smart, he's still going at you. That's how realistic these fight scenes were. So I think that's what I liked about it. There's this one scene that I will share with you guys where he's in the restroom and he's putting together this gun that he's brought into this place to like basically take the bad guys down. And like when he's in the bathroom stall putting the gun together, I'm sitting there thinking in my head, he not gonna get away with that. They about to come in there and fluff this man up. And that's exactly what they did. And I loved it. I was like, it wasn't because I could figure it out. It's just realistically speaking, if that particular group of bad guys is really as bad as they say, they watching everything. And sure enough, he's in there putting his little gun together and he comes out thinking he about to go start out there going doing some things. And they like, oh no, we see you. We see everything. And then they beat the ever-loving crap out of him. And the situation that he gets himself in towards the end, where it's like, you think that all hope is gone. There's no way that he's going to win. And that can very well happen. There are a lot of movies like that where you think like, oh, the anti-hero is about to make it through and he's like gone. No, there was a lot of moments like that, but they were realistic moments. There's another scene where they like put him in like this bathtub and cover it up with the wooden slats and he can't breathe. He's like hogtied. But then as he's struggling, he sees, oh, there's the plug to the water. Now, I know there are some people who can hold their breath for a long time. Realistically speaking, if you're a chain smoker and you're not the fittest character, technically speaking, you would have been gone. I mean, your lungs are already jacked up from the cigarette and the nicotine, right? But for the sake of the movie, he did what a healthy lunged individual could do if they don't panic and use their brain, which is he pulls the plug out and then the water goes down and he's literally like gasping for breath, which is also realistic, but then he gets out. So it's like, okay, this movie is realistic. Like they went in on this script and they were like, we got to make this look real. And they did. They made it look so real, so believable. And it kind of even gets you thinking like, are there corporations out there like that? Like really, it just made you think. It was really good. There are some sad parts in the movie. No trigger warnings. There's like no rape or nothing like that goes on. I shouldn't say there's no trigger warnings. There is a trigger warning. If you are adverse to suicide, don't watch it. Just don't. Fair warning. There's a suicide moment. Don't watch it. Everything else, cars blowing up, people being set on fire, although you don't get to see them being set on fire, but you know the building explodes, those kind of things. Those are typical things that happen in action-packed movies like this. But, trigger warning, full disclosure, if you have a thing against suicide, don't watch it. Just don't. Just don't do it. Josiah, you're fine. He didn't take a nap today, and the little bit of sleep that his daddy let him get was not even 30 minutes, so he is legit super, super, super set off. What's his problem?
He's mad he has to stop playing so he can eat.
Oh, okay, yeah, he got new toys from his other grandparents, and he loves his new toy, and he's mad because he's got to stop eating. Do you want to sit in timeout? Then stop. Just eat your dinner, and then you can play with your toys. Oh, my goodness. I probably shouldn't even talk to him now. He's like, I want you, Mama. My stream is actually going pretty good today. It's still in the green. So I would encourage you guys to definitely check out Joe Pilho, The Dawning Rage. It is amazing. It's so amazing. Raquel, is that something that you would watch? And Chris, and those of you on TikTok, is that something that you would watch? Thank you for the likes. Mwah. No? No one? Really? Is it too much? Well, it could be the trigger. And I get it. It could be the trigger. I totally understand that. I get it. But I have to give full disclosure. Oh, Chris is like, yes. So yeah, I will definitely link this up and do like a little mini review on my thoughts on what I think about The Dawning Rage. It's really, really good. Okay, let's switch gears for a second. So one of my K-drama besties, actually she's more than my bestie. She has been with me since 2009. I have been with her since the birth of her youngest, her daughter, who is now a teenager, teeny bopper. But anywho, she messages me on Instagram and she's like, dude, have you seen the Squid Game yet? And it's on my to be watch list. I just haven't had a chance to watch it. Not because I don't want to watch it and I have a lot of stuff going on. It's just I don't want to watch it in front of the little person. That's the other thing. I gotta find these little caveat moments where he's not around and can't see the violence, right? The blood and the gore. He's 2. He doesn't need to be exposed to that. So she tells me, okay, if you haven't watched the Squid Game yet, and I haven't, and I'm not one to be like balking at spoilers, like don't message me and be like, guess who's in the Squid Game? Don't do that, because I'm calling you, which is what I did. I called her and I was like, Belinda, Raquel, you remember Bells, hanging with Bells? That's what I'm talking about. I was like, Belinda, you can't just message me on Instagram and drop something like that and not expect me to call you. I'm calling you, sweetheart. I'm calling you. She was like, I don't want to ruin it for you. I don't want to spoil it. I was like, every time you do this, what do? I call you and I have to beg you to give it to me. Just tell me. So before I tell y'all, do you want to know who is in the Squid Game? I'm just going to ask first before I spit it out because I don't want to ruin it for anyone who hasn't seen it yet. I haven't seen it, but it doesn't ruin it for me. It just makes me excited because I can't wait to see my dude. So if you want to know, hit the yes button. Hit the yes button and let me know if you want to know who is in the Squid Game, and I will tell you. Hi, Abby. Chris. Raquel, you probably don't even care. You're like, whatevs. It's a drama. Yes, okay. Abby wants to know. Chris, do you want to know? If not, look away. Look away. Look away. Okay. Someone who shows up in the Squid Games for a couple of episodes is my boo, who I can crush on. I can crush on him because we up in age range. I'm still a little bit older than him, but only by I think a year or 2. Gong Yu is in there. Yes, my baby daddy from the Goblin is in there. Holy Chipotle. When I heard that, All you did was make sure that the Squid Game has now moved up to top #1 list. I will be watching that tonight. Even if he doesn't show up in the first couple episodes, I'm watching it tonight because I have something amazing to look forward to. And for those of you who know me, I love The Goblin. So much so, I got the journal, I got the movie, I got the script to the K-drama, I got the story, I got it all right here up on my shelf. That's how much I love The Goblin. Thank you for the likes, Abby. Mwah, mwah, mwah. So, just so you know, you're right, it's game on. Like, I'm there. There's no way that this show can be messed up for me now, because now I have something to look forward to. It's like opening a present. Like, it's like Christmas before Christmas. I'm excited. I'm so excited that I might even skip my Korean class today, but I'm not going to do that. I'm not going to do that. So, yeah. Korean baby daddy. He gets all the love. He gets all the love. Oh. Yeah. You're legit out of coins. No worries. Yeah, you gotta budget yourself. It gets expensive, yo. It gets expensive. I would never do that. Thank you. All the loves to you too, sweetheart. Thank you. So yeah, I had to go off on that tangent and just let y'all know that the Squid Game is legit. I think Chris jumped off because I don't think she wanted to hear that part. But I get it, Chris. Chris, if you can hear me, get my vibes, come back. I'm done with the spoiler. It is. It's addicting. Actually, when I do gifts now, there's probably... Raquel's like, skip your Korean class. I would, but then I defeat the purpose. I need to take my Korean class because the whole purpose of this... Okay, let me go on another tangent. Let me give you guys some background on moi. Do I like K-pop? Yes. Do I like K-dramas? Yes. Do I like anime, manga, manhwa? I like it all. Yes. But I also like my Western movies too. I'm a Marvel girl. I'm not a DC girl, but I'll watch some DC movies. I love soundtracks to movies. I love music. I'm a very eclectic person. I am a polyglot, meaning I love languages and I want to learn as many as I can. So when I started getting back heavily into K-dramas, my thing was I need to understand what I'm hearing instead of having the subtitles. Because when you watch movies with subtitles, especially if you're not a fast reader, and luckily I am because I read a lot, right? You miss some things, right? And then if you ever go back and watch the same drama over again, you're like, wait a minute, I don't remember that part. And it's because you're reading the subtitles. I'm learning Korean to not read the subtitles, to read the books on my shelf, to have a conversation with my Korean friends that are over in South Korea. I'm not doing it because I want to run into a famous idol and be like, let me have your babies, because the baby shop is closed. Mama can't have no babies. Don't want no babies. I'm happily married to the man that's sitting in the couch over there. I got 3 beautiful children. I'm not one of these girls who's out looking for a man. I don't need one of those. I'm legit wanting to learn the language because the culture to me is beautiful. I want to be able to watch my K-dramas is beautiful. And as soon as I master Korean, my next one's going to be Japanese. My son is fluent in Japanese. And for those of you guys who didn't know, he's half Japanese. Rainbow Coalition over here. No biggie, it is what it is. So right now, what I have under my belt, I've got English. I am dangerously fantastic in Espanol. ¿Qué pasó? French, bonjour. I can carry on a decent conversation in French. Portuguese is another one. And it was really hard for me to learn Portuguese because Portuguese and Spanish, like Mexican Spanish, some similarities. So that's what it is for me. It's like it's just another language under my belt, and so that is why I can't skip the class right now. But it's okay. And I've got to get to the point to where I know the Hangul alphabet. I know that backwards and forwards. I can read what I'm looking at, but I don't know all the words yet. I'm not even going to pretend that I know all the words. And don't even get me started on my linguistics. Like, the language is beautiful, but I don't sound nothing like that. And I want to have that native feel. Like, obviously, if I go to South Korea, they're going to know, you're a foreigner. Well, of course. But I want them to question, to be like, wait, did she grow up here? She might have grew up here. That's the kind of feel I want to go for. And I want to be comfortable enough in my skin to where I can get around. Like, no joke, when I went to Paris, reading and writing French is totally different. Any language is totally different when you have to actually put that bad boy into use. I think I must have said, pardon them, or I think I must have said, excusez-moi, or pardon-moi, like, probably like a gazillion times while I was in France. And, I just remember I was standing in front of Moulin Rouge, and there was like this little street vendor selling like churro like treats. It was more like a patisserie, like a bakery. And I just remember saying, "Parlez-vous anglais?" And she's like, "No." And I was like, "Damn it." And Americans, we do this, right? We go to other countries and we just assume everybody speaks English. They don't. It's not a necessity. They don't have to, and it's not their job to do it. If you're going to go to another country, you've got to assimilate. At least know how to get around. Ask for directions, know where you're going. At least that's my thought anyway. So when I went to Paris, that the first 2 days of me just getting in the habit of like speaking French, even though I'm not super fluent in French, but I can carry on a mean conversation and I can read that bad boy like there's nobody's business. Having to actually speak to someone was mind-boggling, and it was so stressful. The first 2 days I spent in France, I want to say I probably had like mental mini meltdowns like 6 times. Like, I wasn't going to cry in front of anybody. But yes. Yeah, exactly. Thank you for agreeing. So yeah, when I eventually do make my way over to SK, and I will be traveling there. When I do, I want to be comfortable in my skin to at least appear to like fool some people to be like, wait a minute, was she brought up there? She might have lived here for some years. Like, I want them to like think about it, and I want to be comfortable and casual about it, and I want to understand the differences between being informal and formal, because like our Asian brothers and sisters, especially over there, they're very conservative in that respect. Even like the company that I work for is Japanese. Like, you don't call them by their first names. If you're calling them by their first names, you like are BFFs, or y'all are in some type of intimate relationship. If you're not in either of those things, you're not calling them by their first name. That's proper etiquette. So, I know we went on a tangent there, but that's why I'm trying to learn my Korean. No subtitles, traveling purposes, and I want to read the beautiful literature that's back on my shelf. All right. So I said I was going to talk about one other show, and I completely forgot. Raquel, Chris, do you remember what I said I was going to talk about? Abby, thank you so much for the likes. I appreciate it. Mwah. Thank you, beautiful girl. No sub. Oh yeah, no subtitles. I was like, I had to think about that for a moment. Sometimes it takes this brain a little bit to catch up. And the other thing that's really interesting about learning different languages is compartmentalizing everything. So they say, what is it? Latin, Spanish, French, Portuguese. Is Portuguese a Romance language? I think it might be. But there's like 5 Romance languages, and they all have these like stemming root words. So like it was easier to learn French, Spanish, and Portuguese, although Portuguese was a little bit harder, but French and Spanish were really easy to learn. Portuguese did take me some time, but not as long. I will tell you that Korean, although it makes sense in my head when I'm thinking about it, saying the words is a little bit different. It's another reason why I'm not even gonna lie, I'm kind of scared to pick up Chinese. Yeah, well, I actually mentioned the other series last night when I was streaming live, Genshin Impact with Chris and Raquel. Chris and Raquel, do you guys remember what I said, what the other one was? Probably not, and that's okay. It's all good. We can talk about language. It's no big deal. But yeah, that's like with language, it's hard to compartmentalize. And believe it or not, here's the other thing. I forgot to mention another language, right? Because I always forget about it because it's like in my head and I don't use it very often. But if I get really mad, like the accent comes out. So, military brat. I was raised in Munich, Germany. So, Germany, when I came back to the States, was kind of like German was like kind of like my first language. It was like broken German. It was like English and German, and it was just like a whole bunch of a mishmash. But then I had this really thick accent. So when I came back to the States, we moved to California, I had to go to a speech therapist. And even still, it will be hard for me to like compute in my head. And it's hilarious to me. Thank you for the likes. It is so hilarious to me because people will be like, what? And I'm like, oh wait, no, that's not the right word. I'm sorry. Let me say that the right way. And it comes through in my writing to my editor all the time. She's like, dude, that's not how that works. I'm like, really? She's like, no. And then I think about it. I'm like, oh, because my syntax is all off. Like that made no sense whatsoever. It sounds cool, but it's not, because I'm gonna give it to you guys raw right now. Y'all about to hear the real deal. Being melanated, right? Brown skin, beautiful brown skin. Living over there was fine. People were very friendly, and if they weren't fake about it. If they didn't like you because of your skin tone, they just stayed away from you. They didn't talk stuff. I didn't have any issues like that, and I really didn't know what racism was when I lived in Germany. I didn't know what racism was until I moved to California, and my dad got stationed up north in California. So my dad, when he was little, his dream was to be a black cowboy. Like, for whatever reasons, he loved shoot 'em up movies, cowboys and Indians. And we were at Fisherman's Wharf, and I'll never forget this day. We're at Fisherman's Wharf, we're walking to a store, and he sees this cowboy boots store, and he wanted to go into the store, and he wanted to look at the boots. And he goes in, and the store owner legit says, we don't allow, and he says the N-word in the stores. And my dad didn't get upset. My dad was not the type of person to get upset. He was very peaceful, never cursed. The only curse word I ever heard my dad say was ass, like that. And hearing him say that was funny. So he didn't say anything. He just walked out of the store, and I just remember thinking, what did he say? What does that mean? And I knew it was a bad word. I just had never heard the word before. There's a lot of Africans, by the way, that live in Europe and in Germany. So I saw other people that looked just like me while I was there. So it was never an issue. But when I came back to the States, I didn't even really know what that was. I was like, what does that even mean? And my dad was like, don't worry about it. He's ignorant. That was my dad's response. So then picture that. I'm up north first, and we're stationed in Fort Ord. And the demographics in Fort Ord at the time in the 80s was population was more Caucasian. It wasn't very diverse, right? It wasn't a melting pot. It was just a whole bunch of Northerners just up there living their best life. But we lived on the military base, and because we lived on the military base, I didn't get that much exposure. So when my dad retired, what does my dad do? He moves us to Los Angeles. To be exact, La Cienega. That's covert for HOOD. We moved to the hood. I was a melanated skin girl in the hood who didn't sound like she was from the hood, who sounded like a foreigner, who didn't double dutch. And when I say bullied, it got so bad to where I was sick to my stomach. I couldn't go to school because I was afraid of what the other kids were going to say to me, what they were going to do to me. And finally, my dad was like, okay, what do we do? So what do? We moved. But then where did we move? We moved to Inglewood. That's like double whammy. You gonna drop me in the middle of Inglewood? Like, really? And then be like, and you're gonna go to school where the population is 95% melanated folks? Okay, let's do that. So I go to this school. I have this accent. My classroom, everybody looks like me. There's like a handful of Hispanics. There was no Caucasian children in Inglewood where I lived. Not a one. Just the teachers. And even they was in the shortness. Like, there wasn't very many of those. So, first day on the playground, what do little girls want to do? They want to double dutch. What did little tigress say? I don't know what that is. And it's funny because all the kids first, they were like, oh, you sound different. Why do you talk like that? And I was just like, I didn't know that I was talking any other way. Like, I don't understand. So bullied enough to where my dad finally said, okay, let's do therapy. So I went to a speech therapist for about 6 months to take the accent away and to speak proper English, right? They didn't teach me to speak hood. They just taught me to speak proper English and to sound English. So then I come back, right? I'm progressing. I'm learning how to sound normal. But then guess what I get hit with? Why you sound like a white girl? That's the thing too. Now you sound like a white girl? And back then I didn't understand the severity of that. And then we'll fast forward to why I got an issue with that saying. So, didn't understand the severity of you sound like a white girl. So what do you think that I do as a child, right? You conform, you adjust, you adapt, you want to fit in, right? I was still a nerd. I could never get rid of the nerd in me. It's just a thing. But the apartments that I lived in Inglewood, there was this girl and she befriended me and her name was Kapua. I ended up meeting her years later in San Bernardino. Whole nother story. But anyways, me and Kapua, we meet up, right? She befriends me and she's Hawaiian and black, right? So she was like, no, you got to do like this. You got to do like that. And back then, my hair was natural and I had long little pigtails, but not in the 80s. What was the style in the 80s, ladies and gentlemen? I think we have this as question of the day on Discord. Your most embarrassing fashion moment? Jerry curl. So what happens to me? I get a jerry curl. Why the hell would my parents let that happen? But they did. So, melanated, got the jerry curl, the activator juice going. I'm learning my lingo, learning how to fit in, learning how to double dutch. And that's what happened. But I would still get tripped up on my words though. It was really hard in the beginning. It was really, really hard. So fast forward hundreds of years later, and I'll tell you why I have a problem with you sound like a white girl. Because if somebody ever comes up to me and tells me that I sound like a white girl, basically what you're trying to tell me is that I'm overly educated or I'm too educated, or you assume that all melanated folks of my skin tone shouldn't sound appropriate. And that's, to me, is a slap in the face. So when people come up to me and we having conversations, and I've had this happen where I'm out with coworkers and they're like, oh, I'm not gonna say my real name, I'm gonna just say my author name. Oh, Tigress, you're so cool. You sound just like a Valley girl. Excuse me, what? Oh, am I not black enough for you? Do I need to break it down for you? Because don't nobody want to meet TT. And TT's my alter hood ego that I developed in California. You don't want to meet TT because TT is off the chain. And TT will take you there. She will take you all the way there. I will take you so hood. You'll be like, oh, homegirl about to take off her earrings, put on her Vaseline, and she about to throw fists. We don't want that. Why I gotta act ignorant in order for you to feel comfortable or feel like, oh, she's exactly where she's supposed to be? No, sweetheart. No. I talk just like everybody else talks who wants to sound however it is they want to sound. And I don't have a problem with people who talk any way they want to talk. Talk how you want to talk. But don't ever come at me with you sound like a white girl, you sound like a Valley girl, because we gonna have problems. Talk about going from 0 to 100 in less than 0.5 seconds. That will be this is. Yeah, so. Exactly. Ever. Don't do it. And if you do it to the wrong person, Like you might get caught up. You might get caught up and end up wondering why you sent in an ambulance and why you got to press charges. I'm just saying. I'm just saying. I've had it all happen. I've had coworkers say when I wear my wigs, right? Hi, gorgeous. Missed you too. Hi, Shine. Shine's on Twitch, by the way. But I've had coworkers come up to me and be like, "Oh, you dyed your hair? You straightened your hair? Oh, can I You don't touch a person's hair. It don't matter what race, creed, religion, skin tone. You don't go up to, I'm not going to go up to Raquel and be like, "Oh, Raquel, your hair is so curly. Can I touch it?" That's just disrespectful. You don't do that. Not even a little bit. So when my coworkers used to do that to me, I used to be like what? Seriously? No. No. Go ahead, get your cook on. I ordered Chipotle for my family tonight. I was not cooking, like, at all. So yeah. FYI, if you ever run into anyone, it doesn't matter what race they are, don't touch their hair. Don't even ask to touch their hair. And if you're not sure, then don't do it. Don't do it. And there's been times when people have asked me, "Can I touch your hair?" Or, "Oh, I know that's a weave. Can you explain it?" If I really feel like they're sincere, I'll take the time to explain it. If I think you just out there being stupid, I'm going to treat you like I treated some coworkers of mine. Y'all want to hear a funny story? Funny story time. All right. This is so horrible of me, and I apologize. Jesus, please don't put me to the 7th rings of hell for this. Let me knock on some wood first. I was not nice when I did this. So, y'all remember when Black Panther came out, right? And it was like the hypest movie ever. I was actually in Cambridge in the UK when that movie dropped. And I believe it was Valentine's Day. Yeah, it was. It was Valentine's Day, or it was about to be Valentine's Day. Anyway, came out in February. I'm in Cambridge on a work trip. Didn't have any family around, obviously, because I'm on a business trip, and I go see the movie. Love the movie. And I was pleasantly surprised to see that the movie theater in Cambridge was packed full. It was a full house. Like, there was no seat left unsat in. Right? So the movie comes out, it drops or whatever. I fly back home a couple days later. One of my coworkers, bless his heart, and I say this in the Southern way, bless his mother fluffing heart, was talking to a friend of his. Okay, let me just show you how ignorant people are sometimes. And he was like, "Yeah, my wife wants to go to Wakanda." At first, when I heard that, I was like, he playing. That man, he's an engineer. There's no way he thinks Wakanda is real. But he was dead serious. Dead serious. Like, so serious as a heart attack. And he's sitting there telling his other coworker, "Yeah, my wife wants to go to Wakanda. I'm trying to find tickets, but I can't find tickets anywhere." This ignorant fool gonna look at me and say, "Hey, do you know where I can get some tickets to Wakanda?" Let me tell you something. When I say I went off, I didn't go off, but I did kind of go off, because this is what I did. I looked at him and I said, "You know what? They're not letting people into Wakanda. Actually, the director and that whole cast, they had to get permission to even film on location." I said, "That's how sold up that country is. They not letting nobody in." He was like, "For real? They not letting people in Wakanda?" No. I said, "I think the only reason why is because Bozeman had like some ties to that country, and everybody assumes it's a third world country, but as you can see, they're flourishing. They're just doing stuff." He was like, yeah. I was like, "But you know the technology is not real, right?" He was like, "Oh, yeah. It's a movie. I get it. I was like, "Okay." I was like, "Yeah, but no, I can't help you, dude." I was like, "Bruh, they not letting folks into Wakanda." I was like, "I can't even get into Wakanda." For real. Yo dumb ass thought Wakanda was real, and we over here paying you 6 figures a year? Hmm. 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 Now, I could have put him up on game. I could have explained to him that Wakanda is a fictional character, a fictional town, country, whatever you want to have it. I could have put him up on game. But let me tell you why I didn't. Because he had the audacity to look at me and assume that I knew anything about how to get there. And even after I did it, I thought to myself, he can't really be serious. He was like really trying to offend me. Like that's where I took it. I took it to the level of where I thought he was really trying to offend me. That's how I took it. I was like, he's trying to offend me. Like, would you have gotten offended, Raquel? Like, am I the only one who's thinking to myself that was offensive? That's why I did that. That's why I went off. That's how I went off. Hi, Colorado mama. So yeah, I'm all for educating. I'm all for having conversations. I like to have healthy debates. I believe everybody should have their own opinion. But when you start getting like ignorant with me, I'm not going to necessarily get ignorant back with you, but I might tell you something that's, when you sit down and think about it for a long time, you're like, that trick really, 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 she got me back. Oh, and he figured it out. It took him about a couple days, and he was pissed. He was like, why didn't you just tell me it wasn't real? And I was like, because you thought it was, and you thought that I would know, so I figured, hey, why not? Yeah, I don't have a poker face, Raquel. I don't have a poker face. My emotions show on my face. That's a flaw for me. If I'm mad, you know I'm mad. If I'm upset, happy, sad, it all plays on my face. Especially in situations like that. And it's awkward for me too because I'm not confrontational by nature. Like I shy away from confrontations. I don't want to fight with you. I don't have time for that. Why? Why even go there? But sometimes, like that situation, I just couldn't let that slide. Would y'all have let that slide? Like in all seriousness, would you have let that slide? Sean, you're probably like, what the heck is she talking about? Oh, geez. It is what it is, y'all. But yeah, I can't even remember the other one I was supposed to talk about. I know there was another one I was supposed to talk about, and I have no idea. But that's okay. Yeah. Yeah, normally I think had there been more people in the office, I wouldn't have said anything, but it was so early in the morning. It was just me, him, and like two other coworkers because we all came in really early. And I think I was just having a bad day that day. I think on a normal day, had the office been filled and buzzing with noise, I probably would have just shook my head at him and been like, dude, Wakanda's not real. But because he caught me on a bad day or a bad morning, I decided to just go with the flow, as you call it. If that makes me a horrible person, I apologize. Not sorry. Not sorry. There's no more water. There's no more water. Where's all the water gone to? I drank it all. Alright, so I guess it's just going to be Dawning Rage tonight. I can't remember what the other story was. I apologize. But yeah. Oh, thank you, Raquel, for saying I'm not a horrible person. She said it takes a whole heck of a lot to make me explode. You're not a horrible person. Dude, if I ever start like silent tear crying, whoever made me do the silent tear cry just needs to turn around and run far and fast away. That means you have pushed me into a corner that I can no longer get out of, maneuver my way, or ignore, and therefore I have no choice but to fight. And I don't mean physically, I mean verbally. Like when the silent tears, like the tears start falling down my cheek and my face gets hot and my ears start burning, just run. Just run. Just keep running. I hear that song in my head that everybody says where it goes dun 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 dun, and it's like yeah, just run. Don't stay. Don't stay. It's gonna be Armageddon. Hugs and kisses to you too. Have a good one. Yeah, I'm about to jump off of here. It's been 50 minutes, and y'all know I like to keep it to 30 to 45. But I hope you guys all have a wonderful, wonderful Wednesday night. Tomorrow is just a free-for-all. Same time, same place. I will probably do either skincare regime because I was asked to do something on that, or I will talk about my amazing Scentsy tattoos, or they're not Scentsy tattoos, fragrant tattoos, which I love. I don't have them on anymore, but they smell amazing. Good night, lovelies. Have a wonderful evening. Colorado Mama, thank you for the love and the likes and for staying and hanging out with me this whole time as I went through my tirade or myriad of conversational topics. It's what I do. I go off on tangents, but Raquel loves me for it, so I gotta keep her happy. Raquel's my girl. I love her. I love you all. Mwah. Kisses everywhere. So everybody have a wonderful night. I'm gonna do my Korean, my Hangul, and then I'm gonna go. I hope I remember the other K-drama. I'll figure it out. But you guys have a good night. Ciao. Ciao, ciao, ciao. Let me go here first. And now. Peace, Raquel. And Shiny. And Chris. I don't know who's all on. It says there's 2 viewers, but I have no idea.